Hey, everybody. Welcome. I'm Sarah, and I'm about to take a sabbatical, a full year away from the university, away from teaching, from deadlines, from the constant swirl of productivity that's defined so much of my adult life and maybe yours. I'm not burned out. This is not about burnout in the way that people assume. I really love what I do, teaching, writing, collaborating. I have the kind of brain that lights up with ideas, and I love the rhythm of being useful and creative and even generous. Feels good to me. But I've also built a life where work holds most of my identity. I've talked a lot about how you can extract who I am from teaching. They're just so embedded and part of one another. And I like that. I'm proud of that work. But in doing that, I've also let other parts of me fade into the background. My body, my marriage, even my sense of pleasure outside of being productive. I have forgotten how to feel alive without doing something that counts. And it's not that serious when I say that. I'm really happy. I love my marriage. I'm really proud of being married over 25 years. And it hasn't even been hard work. It's been a joy. But I can do better. I can be better. So this sabbatical really is a chance to unlearn some of that. Okay, so you might have some questions about what is a sabbatical and how does this work or how is it going to work for me? Is this a vacation? Is this a vacation? Some people want to know that. So no, it's not a vacation. It's not a year of travel for content like content creating or escape. It is a pause from the status quo. It is a step back, not from purpose, but from pace, for me anyway. My husband, Dan, has just retired, and we're choosing to spend this year together, living slowly in different places, starting with Barcelona, then Montenegro, Italy, eventually South and Central America. We're not trying to see everything. We're going to be a month at a time in these different places. We're just really trying to live differently and to figure out what life looks like when we don't wake up to a calendar full of meetings and a brain full of urgency. And let me tell you, like, Dan is really looking forward to, I hope it's okay I say this, honey, amore, because I'm trying to work on my Italian. I think not having an alarm clock, I mean, that's a big deal, not waking up to an alarm clock every day. Okay, number two, what am I not doing right now? So for the next 6 weeks, okay, so we're still home in Oklahoma. But for the next 6 weeks, I'm going to try doing no work, like no work. I know it's summer and people talk about teachers having the summer off or having a summer break. And in reality, that's a myth. A lot of teachers work all summer long. We're reading, we're doing professional development, we're teaching. And our brains really never take a break, or at least mine don't. And a lot of the teachers I know, though, some are much better at compartmentalizing or prioritizing different things. This is no judgment on different ways of approaching summer work as a teacher, but I've always worked. I've always been thinking a lot about things. I have books downloaded, things to read, plans to make. So I'm going to try no work for the first 6 weeks until really the school year kind of gets rolling. So we're leaving in a couple days. I plan to just check email on Fridays. This is sort of my rule. I'll be open to social media only once a week. I'm going to trust the collaborators with the projects that I'm working on to like just move things forward while I rest. We trust each other. We have mutual respect for one another. I love them. I love these people that I work with, and they're going to move things forward and shape things in beautiful ways. And that's a little hard for me because I want to witness that. I want to be a part of it. I want to see the beautiful things that they're doing. I like to be in the middle of things. I like to be useful, but this year I want to let go of that constant proving, constant inserting myself and stepping away a little bit. I won't be writing chapters or responding to edits or Zoom calls. I know I won't be outlining this first stretch in Barcelona and in the Adriatic coast is going to be a true rest period. I do expect to wobble as I relearn how to rest. I think my husband might have joked, yeah, right, you're gonna right, you're not gonna work. Yeah, right. And he maybe doesn't believe it. I know he hopes it. And what I feel like maybe that kind of saying I'm not gonna work feels radical to him and to others in this culture where work is value and the constant doing is what we're expected. But I'm going to try to get used to that stillness without losing myself. And at least the first few weeks are going to be sacred, just not because I'll be perfectly unplugged, but because I'm practicing a new way of being. Okay, so what will I be doing? I plan to maybe cook. Dan does a lot of the cooking, but I'm going to try to help and maybe do some grocery shopping and cut vegetables and things like that. I plan to read and listen to people, not plugged in too much. I just want to like be around and listen to the people around me. I want to be with Dan. I want to be eating slowly, not rushing, not worried about having to get somewhere or a schedule. I want to sit on our balconies that we've reserved at our Airbnbs, and I want to watch people. I just want to like notice and stuff. Eventually, I'm going to turn to my writing. I will visit schools in the different countries. I want to learn how they teach writing and how teachers grow and what kind of professional development they do and how they balance their teaching work life. I'll finish and launch a few books that I've been working on, and I might even draft a new creative piece, but that's all I'm going to say about that. And maybe in case it doesn't work out, but also because I want it to kind of just be my thing for this trip and not tell anyone about it and just kind of have it be personal. Though I do like writing creatively in with Dan because I like to read the things that I wrote that day and get his reaction. So I'm not gonna do that right away, but I don't want to do it from a place of pressure. I just want to do it from when I'm really ready to do it. Okay, so here's a big question that I get a lot is how we're affording this. Yeah, that's a valid question. We've had a lot of people ask about this, and the answer is basically that we've saved. We've saved. I am on a half-pay sabbatical, which some universities offer like half a year for full pay or a full year for half pay. So I'm doing that. So that's going to help with a lot of the expenses. And we're renting our house for rental income. So that's going to maybe take up the other half of my salary. And we're going to live simply. That's just the essence of it. We're mostly staying at Airbnbs with kitchens. So we're going to cook most of our meals. We're not renting any cars. We'll walk, we'll take public transportation, we'll shop at local markets. We agreed not to buy any clothes or souvenirs unless something really speaks to us, or if we run out of something, or we find that we need something. We actually suspect that we're going to be dropping some of our belongings along the way as we recognize that we may not need them because we don't really know what that is going to look like yet. So just we're not treating this as a year of luxury, though it probably feels really luxurious too. And it does actually feel luxurious to us too, but we're going to treat it as a shift and a simple shift of beauty and maybe a different kind of luxury, a different kind of richness in experiences rather than things. Because we really do love our home and we really do love our life, and we're going to miss it a lot, especially our bed because it's very comfortable. Okay, so a lot of you want to know where we are going. Okay, of course you do. I mean, you're excited and maybe you want to follow along with us or join us along the way. So we leave in just a few days. So we're still here. We're going to fly into Barcelona first. It's our first stop for a couple of days, and then we're going to head over to Petrovac, Montenegro. It's a quiet coastal city on the Adriatic. It's not a city, it's a town on the Adriatic. After that, we're going to go to Budva, Montenegro, which is a little bit larger, and then we're going to move into Italia. Yes. Some of you may know that my grandfather immigrated or migrated from Lucca, from Colodi, which is near sort of the Tuscany region of Italy in 1920s, 100 years ago. and started a life here actually in Chicago with and raised my mom and her four siblings in that area. And then we grew up in Chicago. So we want to spend, I really do want to spend some time there. I'm working on Italian, taking some Italian lessons. So we're going to spend quite a few months in Italia. And we're going to visit a couple cities along the way, starting in Milan and moving into Rapallo, and we're going to Cinque Terre. And Colle di Valdelsa is another place that we're going to go, and then moving into Puglia. And if you have spent any time or watch it, one of the things we learned is it's not Puglia, it's Puglia. I think that's how you say it. I'm working on it. And then we're going to head to some other countries in North Africa and Europe and South America, North America. Or not North America, mostly South America, Central and South America. Those are some of the places. So as I said, we're planning about a month in each place so that we can sort of find a rhythm, and we're going to have to sort of reset and find a new rhythm in every place that we go. We expect that. We're looking forward to that. I'm going to find the markets, find the restaurants, meet the people, work on the language. And I think that's important because it's not going to be like automaticity or automatic routines. You know, one of the things that happens for me is I get into these routines and I just do things without thinking. And sometimes it gets me into a little trouble, those routines, or I forget something or I forget where I put something because I wasn't present when I was doing it. So this is really about being present in each of these places and not taking for granted everything being so familiar all the time, which is what we've sort of fallen into the last 6 years, which is really a lovely thing. But it really started with COVID, where I just was in this room all the time and I became comfortable here and I knew how it worked. And going anywhere outside that felt very overwhelming and anxious for me. So this is a little scary, but it's a good way of resetting, we think. All right, so here I'd like to pause a little bit and just recognize the privilege of this experience, to be able to step away, to travel, to live off savings, to have half pay. I know there are teachers and caregivers and families and friends watching this trying to survive just this week. So I want to be clear that this isn't meant to be aspirational in a glossy, sort of Instagrammable YouTuber kind of way at all, though it might feel that way to you. And it's no small thing either. Choosing to rest in a world that rewards hustle is a quiet kind of resistance. There's been books written about that, and I'm learning that slowing down is not about giving up. It's about showing up in a different way. So if this resonates with you at all, if you're wondering what a different pace or path might feel like, I'd love for you to stick around, maybe subscribe, maybe share your own reflections in the comments. Most of the time I'll be over on Instagram posting updates there, not spending too much time videoing or things like that. That's a job. A lot of YouTubers are making a living and they're doing a great job with their travel, their full-time travel, their slow travel, they're living lightly. All of these are wonderful. I encourage you to watch these people. We won't be doing very much of that because we don't want it to be another job for us. But I really would love to hear what your version of a sabbatical would look like, even if it was just a weekend without your phone. In essence, we don't think that the sabbatical means having to leave your life. It just might be returning to it with more care. And that's really what we plan to do on a day-to-day basis. It's a little bit of a pause, but we actually, we're going to continue living and doing our thing along the way. Okay, I'm not sure which question this is, but people are wondering what we packed. All right, this is a big thing, and I've really been sort of obsessing about this since we knew we were going to do this travel, because we're going to take just one carry-on and one backpack. And I thought that, okay, just want to get everything in there. So I got packing cubes and I've been really strategic and practice packing and all those different things. But really, it's less about the amount of things that you're bringing and more about the weight of things, what we are finding, because we don't want to check our bags and pay for that. Again, we're trying to be simple and frugal a little bit where we can. So the actual carry-on roller bag can't weigh more than 20 pounds for a lot of the flights. So we have this like portable weigher thing that we're weighing our luggage with and making sure that it's under the proper amount. And then we're putting things into our backpack, anything that's heavy, so that we can distribute the weight. So really both of them turn out to weigh the same amount. We're just moving things around because the airlines tend to weigh the roller bag and not the backpack. So we're playing around with that. We're a little worried about that as well, about the weight of things. And so, as I said before, we'll probably be dropping some things to help with the weight, or reallocating things. And who knows, maybe we'll end up just packing things because we want to keep things simple. But right now, sort of the principle of it, we don't have to pay the same bag that just weighs a little bit more, even though we're just redistributing our weight into a backpack and a carry-on, all that kind of. But what am I bringing as a woman in her 50s? So I prefer to wear dresses as much as I can. They're just a little bit more comfortable for me in my body shape because I have like a longer torso and all that kind of stuff that's uncomfortable. I will bring a pair of black jeans and some cropped, stretchy blue jeans. Those are where the weight is kind of, but we will be kind of moving from the summer into spring, into fall and winter, even though we'll be in warmer climates, and I want to make sure I have some warm pants. I have lots of black and white and beige kind of clothing colors that match, except my dresses have a little bit more color. I have like a red dress and a green dress and of course a black dress, and they're all like stretchy, thin fabric that I can pack really well. Shoes are a big deal. I want to be able to walk around and also have like cute shoes that match the dresses. I mean, because people wear gym shoes with dresses all the time because the cobblestone and uneven streets. So like we have those comfortable shoes, and I still have my Taos sandals that I wore when I was in Armenia last year that really worked out well. And a lot of the beaches are rocky beaches, so I got some Tivas or towels, like sandals that are kind of cute, and also you can wear in the water. So I'm probably bringing more shoes than I need to, but we're really worried about that because of, well, my feet are too small for my height. You might not know I'm like 5'11" and my feet are 8.5. So I fall over all the time. And also my feet are like, have really high arches and all these kinds of things. So right now I'm taking 4 pairs of shoes. I know people say take 2, maybe take 3. They're super light and my feet are small. So I'm going to try it. And if it becomes a big deal, I'll ditch a shoe. But that's kind of where I'm at with the shoe thing. People might have some things to say about that. So please, I'd love to hear in the comments. But like in general, the idea with the packing is that we want all of the weight to be in our attention to experiences. Instead of focusing on the weight of the things that we're carrying, the weight of our experiences and not the stuff. So while I've been sort of obsessing about the stuff right now to get us going, once we are on our way, this is what we have. We can buy the things that we need along the way if there's an emergency or something like that. But really, I don't want to think about it anymore. I want to be like, this is what I have to deal with. I don't want to think about those things anymore. I just want to be present and focus on the experiences. Okay, so if you're still with me, you probably are understanding what the sabbatical means for me and for us. And I just want to think about or reiterate that it is a reset and not a break. It is not a vacation. It is time off, less time off and more different time. Not stepping away, I'm stepping towards sort of a different version of who I might be as a teacher and researcher and scholar and human being and wife. I'm dreaming. I'm trying to prioritize health and partnership and joy. I want to remember how to love ideas without being consumed by them. So I'm going to say that again because this is kind of a big thing for me. I want to love ideas, but not be consumed by them. For me, I have found that the ideas consume me. I'll be up in the middle of the night, 2 a.m., coming into this very room in the dark and writing an idea for 2, 3 hours, and then try to climb back into bed as if I didn't actually get up in the middle of the night. Not that I'm hiding, but I'm trying to seem normal, right? And the ideas sort of consume me. And that's a really great thing about my brain. It does some incredible things. But I want to see if I can love ideas and not be consumed by them. I said that too many. I also want to feel beautiful again. I want to feel embodied. I want to feel useful in new ways. I want to know who I am without being a teacher every single day, without just the hands and the ideas typing. Again, since COVID, I sort of got into this habit of being here in this space, in this room, and typing and writing and using my brain. Before I had a little bit more balance as a teacher, classroom teacher, in front of students all the time and on a daily basis, and also playing volleyball. I stopped doing all of those things. So I really want to reconnect. All right, so just a couple more things here because this is going to be, the video before I go, and I want to come back to this later. I'm going to like sort of gauge my growth here with a rebalancing index. If you know, I'm not a sort of a measurement kind of girl. I don't like numbers and reducing things in that way, but I want to sort of post once a week throughout the journey, 5 photos, maybe a caption, maybe a little video. No pressure, just not perfection. I'm not going to be making fancy movies or things like that. But it's a note to kind of let you in on what's happening here for us. And I don't know if I'll be able to get Dan on camera. He may not want to do that. I'll just leave it to him and respect his wishes. Right, honey? But I do want to, kind of gauge the presence and partnership and the purpose each week for what we're doing. And so I'm going to call it the rebalancing index, not a number, just sort of a sentence. And I'll have to use this kind of phrase to track the year. We'll see how that goes. Okay, and then the other question is sort of what I hope, what I hope to bring back from this. Okay, so what I hope that I'm a little less afraid of stillness. I hope I'm more at home in my body. I hope that I am generous with my time and less addicted to urgency and productivity, and that I can control or rather be intentional about my ideas rather than being consumed by them. I love my marriage and my husband, amore, uh, but I hope that our marriage feels richer, even better from this. That my writing feels a little looser, a little wilder, a little more fun and passionate. That I've sort of found a rhythm that I can take back with me here, can bring home. And that I can find that rhythm without needing plane tickets and Airbnbs and another sabbatical for 7 more years. Just want to find that rhythm again, a new rhythm. And I hope I can show others, especially other teachers, that this kind of life shift is possible. You don't have to travel the world. You don't have to quit your job to find rest, that you might be able to find other ways to make it matter. Or you might actually find out that you do have a sabbatical opportunity or a kind of small leave of absence that you can take from your job and then return to it refreshed and ready to go. So these are the key questions that I'm carrying with me on this journey. Number 1, who am I when I'm not producing? Number 2, can I still matter without being useful all the time? Number 3, what rhythms help me feel alive, most alive? And number 4, how can I be a writer, a partner, a teacher, and a human all at the same time in a way that's very present and intentional and authentic to me, the best version of me, or not best, responsive, real, authentic. So this year is not really about answers more, but about listening for possibilities in these different ways. So if you've made it all the way to the end of this video with me, thanks for being here. Thanks for being a part of this journey. Thanks for being my friend and colleague and family that has nurtured who I am. Thank you for um, witnessing my life so far, for being a part of all of this. And thanks for joining me on this trip. See you next week.